Part 1. The Invitation to the Unseen. My beloved child of light, come close, lean in, let the noise of the world fall away like dust from your shoulders. There is something I need to tell you, not with shouting, not with thunder, but with the stillness that moves mountains. Because sometimes the holiest revelations do not arrive in temples or on mountaintops, but in whispers, in the quiet. Yes, the world is loud. It screams its fears and flaunts its glitter. It distracts, deceives, and exhausts. It tells you that only the grand matters, only the visible counts. But listen to me. God moves in the hidden. His power is not bound to platforms or pulpits. He does not wait for the lights to be perfect before he enters. No, child. He walks straight into the shadows. He enters through the back door. He shows up in the forgotten places. And oh, how easily we forget the unseen. We tidy the living rooms. We sweep the floors. We polish the parts of our lives that the world might notice. But there are corners we avoid, both in our homes and in our hearts. There are rooms we shut the door on, hoping no one asks to enter. There are memories, habits, and struggles we pretend don't exist. The places we deem too ordinary, too shameful, too low to matter. But beloved, those are the very places where God is most ready to dwell. Because the God you serve is not repelled by your mess. He is not offended by your low places. He was born in a stable, remember? Among straw and animal breath. The Savior of the world made his entrance through the back door of humanity, unnoticed, uncelebrated, wrapped in cloth, and laid in a feeding trough. So what makes you think he will not come into your bathroom, into your quiet, private, tear-streaked moments? He will, and he does. You see, what the world mocks, heaven often honors. What seems foolish to man, God uses as the very vessel of his miracles. And so I ask you this, what if you've overlooked your altar? What if the sacred space you've been praying for already exists, but it's disguised in the mundane? I want to talk to you today about an act so small, so simple, so easily dismissed, and yet so powerfully sacred. I want to talk to you about salt, and not just salt, but where you place it. Not on the dining table, not even on the altar, but in the most unspoken place of your home, the toilet. Yes, that place, the one we hide behind closed doors, the place of waste, the place of release. And child, that's exactly why God wants to be there. Because God is not afraid of your release. He created it. He wired your body to let go of what is no longer needed. And just as there is release in the natural, so too. Because when you stand with that salt in your hand and you speak a quiet prayer into the steam and tile of your bathroom, you are not just cleaning a room, you are cleansing your soul. You are surrendering shame. You are releasing strongholds. You are saying, there is no place in my life, no corner of my heart, too dirty for your presence. You are opening the door to the unseen and letting heaven enter. And child, don't let anyone make you feel foolish for it. Don't let tradition shame you into silence. You are not being superstitious. You are being sincere. You are not mocking God. You are honoring him by trusting that even the smallest act, done in faith, can move heaven. This is your invitation to the unseen, to trust that God hears prayers spoken between sobs, to believe that he sees tears cried behind closed doors, to know that he walks into rooms no one else will enter. So bring him your salt, bring him your silence, bring him your sorrow, your secrets, your sacred mess, because the throne of heaven is not offended by your toilet. The King of Glory is not too holy to step into your lowest place. He goes where you invite him. And child, when you make space for him, even in the hidden corners, he comes. Part 2. the sacredness of salt. Let us now speak of salt, not the gourmet kind, not the trendy sea-sprinkled kind on dinner plates, but the ancient, holy kind, the kind that's been whispering through generations, the kind your grandmother used to sprinkle at thresholds when no one was watching, the kind the Bible spoke of again and again, not as seasoning, but as symbol, as covenant, as power. Salt is sacred, child. It may look small, it may feel common, but oh, how heaven honors the humble. God, in all his majesty, has never needed gold to make something glorious. No, he often moves through what the world ignores. And salt, my love, is one of his oldest tools. Salt preserves, salt purifies, salt heals, salt protects. It doesn't shout, it doesn't shine, it simply is. And everything it touches, it changes. This is why, when Jesus looked at his disciples, not rulers, not prophets, not scholars, he didn't say, "You are the crown of the earth," or "You are the thunder of heaven." No, he said, "You are the salt of the earth," because salt, though silent, has impact. Though small, it transforms, and that is who you are called to be. Not flashy, not loud, but potent, present, purifying. In biblical times, salt was used to seal covenants between friends, to mark promises, to sanctify sacrifices. Temples used it in offerings. Priests knew its power, and somehow, across centuries and continents, we've forgotten. We've let salt become just a kitchen item. This is survival in crystal form. Salt has been part of sacred rites since before you were born. It has lined the edges of battles, circled beds in prayer, and sat quietly in the corners of homes as a silent sentinel against harm. You may not have been taught that. You may not have grown up with rituals, but your soul knows what your mind forgot. So when you bring that salt into your bathroom, when you grip it in your palm with prayer and humility, don't let the world tell you it's silly. Don't let religion strip it of its meaning. This isn't superstition. This is soul work. This is the sacred disguised as simple. You are not just dropping crystals into water. You are placing a declaration into motion. You are saying, "This house is sanctified. This space is sealed. This soul is protected." Salt does not need applause. It only needs intention. And intention, child, is what draws the presence of God. Not performance, not perfection, just pure, sincere belief. So don't be fooled by its size. Don't be deceived by its silence. That small grain of salt carries the echo of centuries, the power of purification, and the authority of ancient covenant. And you, yes you, have the right to use it, to call upon its purpose, to place it where others won't, to declare, through it, that every room of your life belongs to God, even the low ones, even the hidden ones. Salt, after all, was never meant just for flavor. It was meant to keep things from rotting, to hold back decay, to guard what was holy. And when you place it in the toilet, of all places, you are not desecrating the sacred. You are proving that the sacred has no limits, that God is just as present in the release as he is in the reverence, that the act of letting go can be just as holy as the act of holding on. So carry your salt boldly, use it with prayer, use it with power, use it as the weapon it is, a quiet, sacred force that reminds darkness, this space is not yours. The world may not understand, but heaven does, and that, beloved, is more than enough. Part 3. God in the low places. Let's talk now, beloved, about where God chooses to dwell, not always in cathedrals, not just on mountaintops, not only behind velvet curtains or under stained glass domes. No, our God, the Holy One, has a reputation for showing up in low places. He was born not in a palace, but in a stable. He entered not with royal fanfare, but with the scent of hay and livestock in the air. He slept in a manger, the same place animals fed. So tell me, child, what makes you think he's too holy to enter your bathroom? What makes you believe he'll turn his face from the places you hide? He won't. He never has. From a tree. Time and again, Jesus did not ascend to the highest seat. He knelt to the lowest soul. So when you bring God into the low places of your life, into the mess, into the silence, into the tiled floor of a bathroom, know this: you are not bringing him somewhere new. You're simply recognizing where he's always been willing to go, the toilet, child. That place of waste and release. It's not unholy, it's human, and God became human for your sake. He knows the fragile systems of your body. He knows the emotional weight of the things you release, not just physically, but spiritually. The shame, the fear, the trauma, the regret, the secrets you flush and hope never rise again. He sees it all, and he is not disgusted. He is drawn to it. Because God is not like man. He is not repelled by what others avoid. He is not embarrassed by your vulnerability. He is moved by it. And if he could enter a tomb to call forth life, don't you believe he can enter your bathroom to do the same? That place you thought was too low for glory can become the gateway for grace. That act of dropping salt into water can become a sacred exchange, your burden for his peace, your past for his promise, your secrecy for his presence. This is the beauty of our God. He stoops, he kneels, he gets close. And when you say, "Come even here, Lord," he does not hesitate. He does not ask for incense or gold. He asks only for space, for permission, for faith. Because the low places, yes, even the lowest, are not beneath him. They are beloved to him. So invite him in, into the places you've ignored, into the places you've been ashamed of, into the physical corners and the spiritual shadows. Say it softly or say it loud, but say it boldly. Even here, God, even this. And watch how he responds, not with distance, but with presence, not with condemnation, but with comfort. Because your low places, child, are the very places he chooses to lift. Part 4. The Act of Cleansing. Now, my beloved, we come to the act itself, simple, small, silent, a handful of salt, a bowl of water, a whispered prayer. And yet, in the spirit realm, this is not a passive moment. It is a thunderous declaration. You walk into your bathroom, not with fear, but with authority, not with shame, but with faith, not just to clean porcelain, but to cleanse atmosphere. You stand before a toilet, the symbol of release, holding what the world calls ordinary, salt, and suddenly, the ordinary becomes holy. Because it is not the salt alone that holds power, it is the faith that accompanies it. You are not performing a ritual for spectacle. You are not appeasing superstition. No, child, you are making a statement in the invisible. And as the water stirs and the salt dissolves, you are not just watching minerals disappear, you are watching strongholds loosen. You are watching chains break. Because this act, small though it may be, is soaked in spiritual significance. The enemy counts on you keeping some areas off limits. He wants you to believe that God is for Sunday morning, not for Tuesday night tears in the bathroom, that his power belongs in the sanctuary, not in the silence of your private places. But this is your rebellion against that lie. This is your protest against every voice that told you your mess was too much for God. Salt in the toilet? Yes, baby. Because the toilet is not a place of shame. It's a place of letting go. And God moves mightily when his children release. Don't you see? You were never meant to carry every memory, every failure, every burden. There is holiness in surrender. There is healing in letting go. And this small act becomes a sacred act when it is done in trust. So pour the salt slowly, intentionally. Let each grain represent something specific, an old hurt, a lingering resentment, a fear you can't name out loud. As it falls, speak it. Lord, I release comparison. I release bitterness. I release this habit I've hidden. I release every voice that said I was not worthy. You are not just performing a task. You are participating in deliverance. Because, child, cleansing isn't only about your home. It's about your heart. It's about clearing the clutter of your soul. It's about saying, even the unseen deserves to be made new. It's about honoring your temple. Yes, even the parts no one else sees. Jesus once knelt to wash feet, dusty, cracked, road-worn feet. He stooped, the King of Glory, and wiped away what the world would have ignored. And now, you kneel too, not in shame, but in sacredness. You reach for the salt not to impress, but to invite. You flush not just to remove, but to renew. And the water? Oh, the water stirs. Not because it's magic, but because heaven recognizes faith in motion. Remember the pool of Bethesda, how the angel troubled the waters and healing came to whoever stepped in with expectation. Now here you are, standing before water, stirring it with belief, saying, God, meet me here, and He will. Not with lightning, perhaps, not with loud signs, but with peace, with stillness, with the lifting of weight you didn't know you were carrying. This, child, is the act of cleansing. This is obedience. This is warfare in whispers. This is the courage to say, I will not let darkness hide in my home. Let others scoff, let them call it strange, but the heavens are watching, the angels are moving, and your bathroom, yes, even that, is becoming holy ground. Because when salt and prayer meet with faith, the result is nothing short of divine. You'll strong then who doesn't seem anyone, risking your loved zone to routine your bathroom. This is just fantastic. But because everything is shifting, that is the moment of declaration. That is the moment when heaven leans in. You see, when you drop that salt into the swirling water, you didn't just release heaviness, you announced authority. You made a spiritual declaration that this home, this life, this vessel is under divine jurisdiction, no longer passive, no longer quiet, no longer available for darkness to dwell in silence. You said, this is God's territory. You may not have raised your voice, but the realm of the unseen heard you loud and clear. You may have stood alone in your bathroom, but in the spirit you were surrounded, by angels taking note, by strongholds beginning to tremble, by generational weights preparing to lift. Because declarations, child, are not mere words. They are keys. They open what has been closed. They shake what has been stuck. They summon what has been promised. And as you speak life over your space, as you say peace, come in, or chaos, get out, you are not imagining things. You are engaging in spiritual alignment. You are declaring war on every lie that lingered too long in your atmosphere. Now, the breakthrough begins. Not always like thunder, sometimes like sunrise, quiet but unstoppable. Breakthrough is not just an emotional high, it is a shift in dimension. It is what happens when you agree with heaven out loud. It is what occurs when your declaration meets God's intention. And child, you may not feel it instantly. You may not see it all at once. But just as seeds grow beneath soil before they break the surface, so does your faith work in the unseen before it manifests in the visible. That act of cleansing was not the end. It was the beginning. You flushed what was meant to destroy you. You've broken agreement with shame. You've released what cannot follow you into your next season. And now comes the making of new things. Now comes the clarity in your thoughts, the softness in your sleep, the lifting in your chest. You'll walk through your home and wonder why it feels lighter. You'll stand in the mirror and notice your shoulders no longer sag with the invisible weight you've carried for years. Because the breakthrough didn't come through spectacle. It came through surrender, and that, my dear, is the essence of faith. To believe that a whisper can part waters, that a handful of salt can shift atmosphere, that a quiet declaration in a private room can shake the foundation of every lie the enemy ever told. So keep declaring it. My home is holy ground. My body is a temple. My soul is worthy of peace. My future is safe in God's hands. And then walk, not in fear, but in fulfillment, not in shame, but in sacred confidence. For the act has been done. The declaration has been made. The breakthrough is unfolding. And God, faithful, present, ever near, is already moving. Just be a moment. Let it become a movement in your life. Take the salt, pray the prayer, cleanse the space, declare the truth, and watch what God does. Invite the divine into the unseen corners. Let your home become a sanctuary, your bathroom a temple, your every act an offering. Don't wait for perfection. God is drawn to your willingness. Now, it's your turn. Share this message with someone whose soul is heavy. Do the act. Pour the salt. Whisper the prayer. Comment below. What are you releasing today? And if you feel led, drop a prayer request. We're covering homes in faith because, child, heaven is listening, and the small thing you do in faith, it's already echoing through eternity.